Hi guys, I'm Becca Otis from Five Lines Pottery, and I'm located in Van.
And I'm Ryan Durbin from RD Ceramics, located in Highland Heights, Kentucky.
And welcome to Wheel Talk.
All right. Hello. We're live.
Hello. Hello. Hi, Ryan. How you
Hi.
doing?
I'm good. I got a kitty on my lap.
Good
Not the new
cat.
kitty. Not the
So,
new kitty. Autumn's on
he's
my lap.
not as attached yet.
No, he's not really a lap sitter just yet. He did
Just yet.
try to. We just started, I think, yesterday or 2 days ago. We actually started keeping his door open in the spare room that he's been kind of isolated to at night. We left it open so he could roam a little bit and maybe sleep with us or not. He's like thinking about it, but then Autumn and Marble came and then he ran off. So I was
Yeah.
like, maybe they'll be fine with one another. That they're like, okay, this is my nightly routine. I need to sleep here, and they're not gonna like run off. But they kind of scared him off. So
Yeah.
yeah, we're working toward it.
I mean, listen, my cats have been living together for a month now, and they get in fights every day. So, you're doing great.
Yeah, yeah, they still got plenty of room to roam around. They'll be in the same room and just kind of looking at one another across the way, sitting down. So we're making progress.
Nice.
But
Nice,
yeah, I'm
nice,
trying
nice.
trying to think what else is new over here. Finished my last show of the year this past weekend. Small Business Saturday, right after
Ooh.
Thanksgiving.
Huzzah.
It was pretty good. I
How'd
don't
it go?
think I did as good as last year. I think it was about 2,300 maybe. Like I was closer to 28 or 29 last year. But it's freaking cold. It was like 20 degrees or something.
Was it outside?
Yeah, it was outside. Usually that's the latest outdoor show I
No.
do. You
Fucking
did that
no,
show
man.
before. I think was that last year or 2 years ago you did that one outside? The West
I
Side
sure
Market?
did. Yeah, but it wasn't that cold.
Okay.
It
Yeah, it
is
just depends.
cold this year.
It kind of depends on where Thanksgiving falls. I think it was a little earlier in the month that year. It might have been the 23rd or 24th when that show was and or the something like that.
Yeah.
So, those few days definitely it starts to turn. So, yeah, just bundled up as best we could. Rachel was actually there too, so she had a booth right next to me. That was the first time she'd sold at West Side Market with her own stuff.
Right next to you?
Yeah, so we asked to be next to one another so we could unload and load, with we didn't use one vehicle to get there, but so we could be a little more efficient with our loading and
Yeah, that
unloading
makes sense.
and watch the booths and all that. So
Yeah, for sure.
still like figuring it out for her because the show circuit's way different and the clientele, it's like, where do you find shows for decor versus, she's got some handmade things mixed in there. So she's trying to figure out where her sweet spot is for shows.
Yeah.
And uh, yeah, so she enjoyed it. She didn't sell as much as she'd hoped, I think, but it's still learning and growing little by little. She did quite a few shows this year, even though
Yeah.
she hasn't
You
really
packed
been
him
doing that
in.
that business too much. About a year, pretty much pretty focused this year. So I think she probably did 7 or 8, maybe 10. I don't know, but she
Yeah, I
she had
feel like
quite a
she
few.
did a lot.
Yeah, so that's been kind of fun, kind of musical chairs a little bit with the vehicles and packing and unloading and learning how to pack more efficient. I mean, her items are a little more odd shaped than mine are, so they don't pack as
She's gonna
nicely and they
have to
take
get
up
a
a lot of space.
full-sized van.
We'll see. I don't know. She's figuring out what she's thinking that the more handmade items are better for these shows, the shows that she wants to be doing and what she wants to sell at shows versus at her booths at like the Peddler's Mall and the thrift stores
Yeah.
and antique stores. So the home decor stuff doesn't go as well. So it seems like handmade bags and clothing and items like that that are a little bit more compact and nicer to pack actually
Yeah.
are better to sell at the ones so far. So,
Oh,
it
that's good.
might be, we'll ebb and flow a little bit
Yeah.
and decide. I don't know that we're not ready to well, I'm not ready to buy another vehicle yet, but we'll see how next year looks.
Well, maybe she'll buy her own vehicle. She'll get so popular and so successful that that bitch can buy her own goddamn vehicle, and you have no say in it. It's all her
All
business.
right, she can do that.
You're like, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, Dottie is like in your business.
I don't really. I'm like, if you haven't been following along, I got Dottie, and she is an elder cat. She's an elder cat, and she is clingy AF. But she's not clingy in the way that like you would expect. I feel like she is she's like clingy, but she's too dumb to like know how to like sit.
Hmm.
Like you know how Autumn would like come up and just sit in front of you, essentially.
Yeah.
She's not gonna do that. I don't know what she's gonna do, but it's not that.
I mean, she's basically been pacing back and forth across
Yeah.
your table while you've been sitting there.
Yeah.
I
So,
mean, Autumn's been doing that a little bit, but she'll eventually settle down somewhere.
yep, nope. I don't know if she'll settle down. I think she wants me to pick her up, but I don't know for sure. Um, like she's probably gonna stick her hand in the ink. Like I actually just don't know.
Well, at least she likes being
This
picked up. I mean, some cats, if they're, uh, Bobby was not a fan of being picked up early on. He'd hop out of your arms and everything, but he's getting a little bit better.
Wow. Lloyd, did you eat all this? Oh, Lloyd's food is gone.
Mm.
That must have been her. She's a fucking garbage disposal. She's
Oh,
just like
really?
yours. Yeah.
Yeah, we're having to get him
She's
acquainted with a new feeder for the baby.
Oh, did you buy
And
a whole
that's,
new feeder for him?
yeah. Right now it's in his room, but he knows the sound of it if he's in the room, but if he's like all their feeders went off at really close times today, and I had to like shoo him into the room so he could go get his food because he
Oh
doesn't really
yeah.
know. And he was trying to go toward the girls' food, and they wouldn't have it. So, and I'm like,
They're
no,
like,
you
no,
got to go get
fuck
your
you,
own.
bitch.
But he's not, you know.
So, Dottie has kidney problems. She's got kidney failure and of some sort. Like, I took her in when she was basically skin and bones. So, um, she's doing a lot better right now. Like, she's on like this special food. And I don't think I'll probably take her into the vet again for a while. And just because she seems to be fine. But but Lloyd is like, yeah, her food is the shit. Like he thinks her food is great. And it's got like less protein in it apparently because apparently when cats have kidney issues, they actually need less protein. I don't know
Hmm.
I don't know exact. I haven't done a ton of research, which I plan on it, but I just haven't gotten to it because I've been surrounded by children because I'm at Teresa and Brandon's. So, but so it's been interesting separating them for meals. And I'm about to so Sarah Rich Creek had a cat that had super high needs, and she ended up getting one of those feeders that opens only for that cat, you know?
Like
Like
a
it's a
sensor
free
with a collar or something.
yeah, it's like a free feed, but you have like a sensor or it's activated by the chip. And so I asked her if she would sell it to me, and she was like, "I will not, but you can borrow it, and we will just we will just pass it along with every cat we have, you know? And so she's sending that so that I can get Lloyd some like, privacy food. Right now I have his dry food and I knew this was going to be a problem and I did it already. I just did it. And I put his dry food, you'll know exactly when I say this, on the windshield. I put it on the windshield because Dottie can't jump up there, so he can jump up there and get it. And guess who fucking drove off with the cat food on the windshield today? I did.
Oh,
And so I lost his
do you have
cat bowl, and I'm
the
kind of bummed
slats
about
in
it.
there so they drop down in the slats, or
No,
okay, you just
it's
had cat
it's
food all over the thing, and that, but you could like get it.
no, the cat food's gone. Cat food's gone. I had no clue that I drove off with the bowl. I don't know where the bowl is. It's gone.
Wait, you put it on the outside of the vehicle, or you put it on the inside of the vehicle?
The outside of the vehicle.
Oh, okay. I pictured you put it on the countertop of the windshield, like up inside the vehicle, because he always hangs out up there.
That's called the dash.
Okay, that's
Um
what I thought you meant. You meant outside. Okay. I
No,
was like,
yeah,
why
the
can't she jump
outside.
up on the dash? But
Yeah, no, the
that makes more
outside
sense.
of the van. So like basically, yeah, like 5 feet up. And so I drove away and there's now a silver bowl somewhere in Munford,
Mm,
Tennessee. Um, hopefully it didn't hurt anybody and it didn't get put anybody in a wreck. So yeah. But yeah, so the food thing has been interesting. But she's a lot better. I got her flea collar and yeah. She's doing good.
that's good.
So she still
You
doesn't know how to
officially,
like sleep. Like she's not
yeah.
like a she doesn't know how to relax. That's what it is.
She's not just like a nap kitty all day.
No. Nope. And whenever I open the door and like let her out, she follows me wherever I go.
That's good.
So,
At least she
right,
knows
which
to come back, or
yeah.
she knows where to go.
Well, and it's funny because, like Lloyd is the same way. Like we go on walks. Now he's like learned to go off and do his own thing. But yeah, so having walks has been like the easiest transition. Like so that's been nice. But
Hmm.
anyway, yep, I'm in Memphis, well, outside of Memphis.
And you
And
just finished your month of workshops. Your last one was in Birmingham, is that right?
yes, my last one was in Birmingham at Make Birmingham, and that was really fun. It was nice because I got to like stay in the parking lot, and there was an ice cream shop in the complex that they lived in, or they
Ooh.
had their studio in. It was very detrimental to my budget. And
Was it like a
um,
fancy one, like a soda shop,
yeah,
or
it was like a vegan ice cream fancy, if that makes sense. Like,
oh,
they had like all different. They had like fig and balsamic, those kind
ew. That doesn't sound
of.
good to me.
No, but you know what I'm saying? Like that kind of ice cream shop that does like weird flavors that you would never expect, you know?
Yeah, I could see how that would hit the pocketbook. I don't know that that would, you know.
It wasn't that bad, I guess, because we were in Alabama, so it was like $6 for a scoop, $4
Mm.
for a scoop, something like that. I think it was $6 with a cone. But yeah, it was fun. I like Alabama. Alabama's nice. Um, yep. That's pretty much it. Haven't been doing much. Haven't been making money except for the workshop. So I hopefully after Christmas, I'm trying to just I'm trying to decide. Okay, I'm not gonna say how much because I know my mom would be pissed. But my dad is a big investor and apparently he just made like boatloads of money after Trump was announced president.
Hmm.
And because if you didn't know, the markets went up
They did go up,
and
yes.
they did go up. Regardless of who you voted for, that's a fact. And And so like he's been in a really good mood and apparently like super giving. And I was telling my mom that I've been kind of like living off of savings and stuff, and she's like, "Well, do you need a loan? Dad's really in a good mood right now."
Ooh,
I was like, "No, I'm good. I'm good. Unless he wants to pay off the car, I'm good." Wouldn't that be
that
nice?
would be a pretty big loan,
That'd be
or maybe not a loan turned to forgivable
Man, yeah,
forgivable loan.
I don't know. I mean, like, I don't know how much I'm gonna have to pay in insurance from that money. Like, I have $26,000 left in my or it's like $24,000 left in my car loan. So like pretty
That's
much
not
two
too bad,
years.
honestly.
No, it's
You had
not
it was
bad.
like 55 or 60, wasn't it?
It was 53.
53. Okay.
Yeah. And like I've been very aggressive with paying it down. And well, I mean it's been 2 years, but I still feel like I've been pretty aggressive. And so I'm like, I wonder if he took over the loan, like, because they don't really, those loan companies, like, they don't really tell you what you pay and what you're not paying. You know what I'm saying? Like,
You mean give
yeah,
you a calculator like if you were to pay your mortgage off early, they would give you a calculator and tell you those numbers, but
yeah, I mean, like they'll say, oh, if you pay your mortgage off or if you pay your payment off early, this is how much you need to pay. But they don't say like, hey, if you pay your payment off early, this is how much you'd save.
I mean,
They're
you'd
not
probably
telling
just
you
plug that
that.
into Chat GPT, I would think.
Yeah, maybe.
All you need is your balance, your interest rate, and that's it. I mean,
Yeah,
you could say my current payment structure, this is how much I pay, and they'll say you're going to pay it off by this time, and you'd be like, what if I paid it off in half the time? How much would I save?
yeah.
What if I paid
Also,
it off
I'm a little
now?
concerned. I'm a little concerned on your reliability on ChatGPT. Okay. I
What do you mean? It's basic math.
every
Why is that questionable?
No, no. See, I could have just done that with basic math, but you're like, you should ask ChatGPT. Like you love ChatGPT. I think that you have a little bit of a
I don't trust just doing the math off the top of my head and just being like, I think this is how it works because you got to like compound the interest because the balance
I
goes down a
know.
certain amount and all. I mean, you could Google chat or not chat. You could Google car loan depreciation cost or payment schedule or something.
You have
I mean,
ChatGPT, right?
yeah.
We should just do it. This is a good learning experience, okay?
Okay. Do you know your interest rate?
I'm getting there. Maybe she's a
I'm
shoulder
guessing
cat.
the car loans are fixed interest rates, or
Um,
they're not adjustable like a mortgage can be, right?
I believe so.
You said 26,000?
Hold on, let me look. I'm gonna tell you exactly what it is. Okay, it's 23,621. If I
Okay.
paid it off today, it would be 23,626. So,
Okay, so I'll say 26 at
and then the um God fucking damn it. Come on. See this cat?
no, I'm waiting for oh yeah,
The
it's on your
original
side.
APR is 6.76%. There is, I don't know, I think just put 2 years. It's a
What do
73
you
month term.
what do you currently pay
I pay 1,000. Oh, the
monthly?
original loan amount was actually 49,000. Yeah. The maturity date says it's November 3rd, 2028.
Okay. I'll tell you
If
exactly
I
what I
just
wrote.
took
I wrote, I have a car loan for 23,626 at 6.75% APR. I currently pay $1,000 monthly. What does my payoff schedule look like until it's paid off? And then I'll reply back and say, how much would it be if I,
how much would I save if I paid it off
okay,
now
I'm gonna,
versus
yeah, I'm gonna let it do that calculation.
also while you're doing that, I do have one thing to tell you. So the girls didn't they we the Teresa and Brandon forgot to get an advent calendar for the girls. They have three
hmm
girls. For everybody who doesn't know, they have three girls, 8, 6, and 3. And because I'm an idiot, I went to Trader Joe's. That's just a full sentence in itself. And um I was gonna see if they had advent calendars because I know they did, and they didn't. They sold out. But I ended up getting $100 in candy and made an advent calendar with muffin tins and tissue paper. It's probably not $100 in candy. It was probably more like 80. Regardless, it was way too much money in candy. So now, and I filled up the muffin tins, right? And obviously it didn't take up all the candy, and now I have so much fucking candy.
Wow,
Yeah.
lots of candy.
I hate Trader Joe's because I have no self-control. None. Also, if you do have a Trader Joe's near you, they have a 12 caramel taste test game that's kind of fun. And they have like it's even like a party game that they've like created, which is kind of fun. I think it was like $8. Okay, what's the chat telling us?
Okay, so I said, how much would I save if I paid it off today? Remaining principal 23,626, APR 6.75. The if you paid off your car loan today, you would save approximately $1,796 in interest that would otherwise accrue over the remaining 26 months of your loan. So it
1,000.
estimated that it would take you 26 months to finish paying it all off.
How much was it? 1,000 what?
1,796, so 1,800
That's almost
bucks.
2,000 bucks, yeah.
Yeah, so
Maybe
your
I should ask
total
my dad.
so your total on the original schedule, it's going to take you 26 months and you would pay a total of $25,422.42. And if you paid it off today, 23,626. So,
Wow.
but I mean, you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I thought it would be more money, but it's,
I did too.
I mean, you could always refinance it too. I mean, interest rates have gone down. You could probably refinance and save a couple percentage,
What?
maybe.
500 bucks? I've never refinanced a car. I couldn't refinance a car. I make no money. The fact that they even gave me the loan for this car is fucking a fucking miracle. I mean, obviously I can pay it, but I have barely anything to prove for it.
I mean, do you have a, um, mm,
Look, it's a
it's,
mustache.
well, it's not a new car loan. Actually, I mean, it kind of sounds like it. Yeah, it seems like your rate is pretty competitive. It says the rates are going to be cheaper with it being a new car loan than of a used car. So if you refinance, it would be
Yeah.
considered a used car, and the rate could be higher. So refinance probably would not benefit you. Yeah, I would have had to Google significantly rather than just going through that within a few minutes. you also need to know what to ask.
You're right.
Like it
Yeah.
also it builds on itself. So if I just went right out of the gate from 0 to 20 by just asking exactly what you wanted without giving it a little bit of context,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been able to get that good of an answer, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Cool. Um, we should talk about kilns. And then we should talk about our questions.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a short episode, by the way, guys. Because I want to watch Deadpool versus Wolverine. So
Mm.
let's fucking go.
I haven't been
Hmm.
itching to watch that, but
Yeah.
we
Anyway,
should.
how's your L&L holding up? How's your baby kiln holding
Oh
up?
man, I just freaking uh ran it twice in 2 days here. I threw a bunch of pots in there for a bisque. I threw shot glasses, I think Monday. I put them in the bisque kiln Tuesday. I finished them and put them in the bisque kiln Tuesday. And then did a quick bisque, unloaded it, glazed them real quick, loaded it back up, fired a quick glaze. I'm trying to restock some shot glasses, so I was able to fit
Damn.
what was it? 12 and 21 shot glasses in there.
Wow.
Glazed glazed shot glasses. So,
That's a lot.
I didn't count how many fit with the bisque kiln, but I fit it pretty good. It fit 4 shot glasses wide, and I just tumble stacked it. So I think I fit 4 high, maybe 5 high. I think 4 or 5 high. So 4 across, 4 across. So that would be uh 16 in one corner. I don't know. It's probably pushing 60 or 70.
16.
Oh, I'm talking about the bisque.
How many did you say you?
The
Okay.
the glaze I did 21, so I had 9 on the first shelf because of the posts, and then I had 12 on the top shelf.
The next thing in kiln innovation that we need is like a way to hold our shelves without putting any posts down. That's what we need.
Hmm. That would probably need to
Levit
be little posts that come out of the brick or something. Like maybe you
yeah,
can
like
adjust where those.
levitating yeah. Levitating post bricks.
I mean, yeah. I don't know how stressful that would be on the soft brick, but if there were little, imagine if they had little of the ceramic like they use for the element channels, if they had little
Yeah.
notches or something, and you can put little posts
And
in the
cantilevered
notches.
it. That'd be cool.
Yeah. I mean, you'd have to have a lot of those, but
Yeah.
that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, yeah, I'm still holding strong on my wheels that I have. They're pretty great. It was like the easiest unload I've ever done of a kiln when I went to make Birmingham. It was like, oh, take the kiln out. It's on its wheels. Boom, go. So that was really nice.
Yeah. I was kind of wishing I had a wall mount at that point because I was firing the bigger kiln bisque that I usually
Yeah,
sit the box on because of where the port is. I have to have it that close. So I ended up sitting the box on top of the controller of the big kiln and making sure the cord didn't touch. But if I had a wall mount, so that would not be an issue. So I might be reaching out to them about a wall mount and see. I think that'll probably work pretty good for me.
I have to get new elements. I'm pushing the elements. So for the itty bitty kiln, because I think that's an important thing. I don't know that yet, but I'll figure it out.
Are you gonna last
So,
until Ensika? You can get them from at Ensika. You're just gonna get them.
uh, I don't know. I might just get them. I'll just buy them. Yeah. So, yeah. And so they have a wall mount. They have the rolling cart. They have like a standing cart that's like a tall cart, and it's very sturdy. It's all metal, and those are all accessories. And also, I mean, I don't know if anybody else was looking at Black Friday deals, and I don't know if it's still of it. Well, it shouldn't be still available, but I know somebody that's getting one for Christmas, and they got a
Oh,
screaming
really?
deal on the ceramic shop. So,
Wow,
yeah,
that's great.
yeah. She doesn't know that she's getting one, but I do.
Whenever I hear about people getting a wheel or a kiln for Christmas, I'm like, oh my gosh, this person must really love you.
Yeah, exactly.
Those are not cheap presents.
Yep. Nope. No, they're not cheap presents, but they are like awesome presents, you know?
That they are.
Yep. All right. Well, where can you find those?
Hotkilns.com.
Podkins.com. I think that my internet is not doing well, so I'm gonna transfer it to my um hotspot.
Okay. I was just say, hopefully it'll transfer seamlessly.
I don't know, but if it doesn't, you will know.
We can turn the video off too if we need to, if it'll cut out or anything. So we got a couple questions for y'all today. We're gonna get to them here in a second, and it also gives me a little bit more time to think about which way I want to answer some of them.
Are you there? Can you see me?
Yeah,
Perfect.
it seems pretty good.
Okay, great.
I
I
was
think it'll be
stalling a
better.
little bit. Told him we had a couple questions here,
Yes.
and I'm gonna read the first one so you can answer it first because I was still thinking about it. So
Okay, and
this,
I picked these questions today.
yeah, she picked these before we got together, so she'd already read them a little bit before me. This one's from Paisley Soul Pottery. What are you most proud of accomplishing in each of your pottery journeys? Hmm.
I'm most proud of staying. I think that the thing that I'm probably the most proud of is through 10, almost 11 years of business, I haven't ever had to get a second job up until now. But this is a full choice. It's like I've never had to like get a second job because I needed it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's probably the thing. I know that's like a different probably a different answer than you were expect like people were expecting. Not Ryan. Ryan probably expected that. But
No, I didn't know what you were gonna say. I think normally it's backwards, right? A lot of people are balancing a second job and they're like, I'm really proud that I'm able to do this full time and leave my full time job.
yeah.
It's kind of, and you kind of like started full time pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, you were working a different job. Were you doing that job full time?
Yeah.
The paint and everything? Okay.
Yeah. Very full time. So yeah, I'm like really proud of myself for not having to like, and not that it's definitely not bad to get a second job. I think that having a side gig is super awesome and people should do it if they need to. I'm just like proud of myself for sticking to it, you know? Even though it's been pretty rough financially for the most part, I'm still proud of myself.
Hmm.
Yeah. And if we were talking like straight ceramics, um, I would say, uh, well, you go and then I'll talk straight ceramics.
Um, Mine was going to be kind of general. I would say that, I mean, every year that I talk to people about how long, you get customers that ask you, how long have you been doing this? And I say, I lose count. I always say 2007. So I'm like, it's hard to believe that after 17 years, I still enjoy doing it. Like, there's no parts that I actually like. I mean, there's still a lot that I, it's majority like over like dealing with. So I know being able to focus on something for that long.
That's pretty amazing.
Um, and and then I try to like shoo it away a little bit that those 17 years. I always pad that answer a little bit and say, "Oh, well, but I did go to high school and start for a couple years and then I was in college for 4 years and then I always end that statement with I've been selling since 2016." So, but like, I felt different when you're at year 3 and 4 of selling versus 8 years of selling. It's
Yeah.
like there's a lot of experience under your belt when you're 8 years into doing something. And I
Yeah.
would still say that I've been doing it not solely financially, but I would still say that I've probably been working close to full time for 8 years in the
I
pottery
mean,
business.
you've certainly been making more than a lot of people full time, you know? There's never been a year you haven't made more than me. No, that's not true. I guess I
Wait,
made more than you
when you said
when
making,
I had the shop.
I thought you meant quantity. You're talking about financially.
Yeah, financially.
Yeah. Yeah, the only other thing I was thinking in relation to this question was just being able to maintain the kind of the bar that I set for myself and kind of like building it up a little bit more each time.
Mm-hmm.
I can't I do move slowly, but I think I'm very conscious of making sure that what I decide to do, I can do it for the long term and um it's something that I'm willing to um I don't know, it's not like a gut reaction to usually with the decision making of like whether I'm going to do something or not. It's very thought
Yeah.
through and something that I'm okay, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to think through what this looks like long term and is it something I want to do for that period and maybe that leads to I might hold on to things a little longer than I should and I should have put something behind me, but eventually I'll be on to the next thing and put something like that maybe I should have like teaching for instance, like maybe I would have been out of teaching a lot sooner or
Yeah.
I would have been, soda firing a lot sooner because I could have went
Right.
somewhere else to soda fire. I didn't have to have the thing all myself. Um,
I was thinking about what I'm most proud of you for in the last, like, in the time that I've known you in the ceramics, and probably building the soda kiln is the like thing that I'm like, man, glad he did that, you know?
yeah, and it didn't seem like it was that quick of a it it does seem quick in the I didn't think it was doable to do all of this myself until going to Isaac's. And I can't believe that was just last August. It's only been a year
Right.
since that. And I feel like it's gone very quick to me building it at the house with help of friends to do it. But I was always like, I don't know enough about that, and I don't want to deal with the variables. But it's also like it's not that complicated that I can't figure it out.
Right.
So I mean, obviously it helps to be able to talk to other folks like Kevin and Isaac and John that all have these similar kilns, and we're just learning from one another, and Kenny from all over the country, and we just be like, oh, you did this, you tried this, oh, you load yours differently. When do you do your like how does your schedule different than mine? how long are you firing it? Like, what are you doing different? So, yeah, there's a lot of community in that because we're all kind of figuring it out on our own as well. So, make it a little bit easier. And it's like a different kind of excitement. I mean, there is a lot more work involved in making it happen and cleaning up afterwards and making those pots sellable. And the
Yeah.
selling part of it is way different. I mean, it's going to take some time to make that work, but I think it was definitely a good decision. And I foresee that down the road, I could build my own soda kiln that's a bigger kiln at some point at the house. Getting a gas line run down there, so I'm not using the big propane tanks. And
Yeah.
and I see that as like a long-term investment that
You
I
could even
think
do
I
it on
think
the
it's
side of your building, so you don't have to run the propane tank so far.
well, I think the gas line would go, I think it would be trenched all the way down, and then it would have a valve down at the landing.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying you could do it on the side so you don't have to trench it that far.
Oh, I was gonna say it was gonna go on the landing still, but we'll see what we decide.
Yeah, but think about how, like, I want you to think about long term and walking down that fucking backyard. Like,
Where would you put
that's
it though?
not reasonable. Right next to your house, like up
Where?
by like up like where I park to the right of it. To the left of your house
Like
if you're
right on
looking
the
out of
front of
your
the
house.
house?
No, on the side.
Well, I mean, in the front yard, basically.
No, on the side yard.
Well, I kind of don't want it to be as visible to people. Even if I put it there, I still have to walk out the side of the house and walk around the side yard all the way out to it.
Yeah, but guess what you don't have to do? Slide down the backyard.
That's my cross to bear. You literally did it one day.
Yeah, I know, and I hated it the whole time. I can't even imagine how you would feel when you're 80 years old trying to like walk up that fucking
80
hill.
years old.
Like, I'm
I'll
gonna
probably
put a
have a walkway down there by the time I'm 80 years old.
oh, sure.
Sorry, I didn't want to spend $16,000 to get a walkway halfway
Well,
down the
yeah,
hill and then
you're
walk.
never gonna want to spend that much money to get a walkway down the hill.
We'll see.
Okay.
I think
I
it's I
can't,
think it's the best landing spot because otherwise I would have to get a cement pad poured. I would have to get an awning built. It would be a whole production, and I'd probably need a lot more approval from people to do that. I'm probably gonna need approval regardless to get it built. Uh, anyways, like a more
well,
permanent structure than what I have now, which is quote unquote temporary.
yeah. You know what they say? Ask for forgiveness.
Before permission
That's right.
or instead of permission or whatever that saying is.
I don't know why this soda kiln was here when I bought the house. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm sure it depends on what state you're in, like, or the cities and stuff. Because we
You
were
know what you
looking at
should
some
do?
other stuff, and I was like, I don't think it would be that bad. It's not
You know
really
what you
putting off
should
that
do?
much bad stuff, but
If you ever buy a new house, if you ever buy a new house, which I think like if you ever buy the house next to your house, um,
that would be
like
the dream.
that would be the dream to Airbnb it, then you should build the soda kiln in the backyard before you buy the house. Buy the house with the soda kiln, and then you're like, it was here. Like,
My neighbor just happened to have a soda kiln.
isn't that crazy?
Part of the
What are
reason
the
I bought
odds?
it.
Uh,
Like you don't need permits or anything to get that thing built. And there's
yeah.
dates on those permits.
I mean, you probably actually don't need a permit to build it.
I don't know.
Permit schmermit.
Well, there would definitely need to be something approved for getting gas run down there.
Oh, 100%. Yeah,
Some people were
that would
talking about
need.
getting the big gas. What do you call? It's not a drum. It's like I don't know what you call it. The 500-gallon ones that it's just a tank,
Hmm.
I guess, or I feel
Yeah.
like it had a bigger name for it, but
Yeah, Cheryl has one of those in her yard.
and somebody I was talking to, I think it was Hannah's husband, because he works at a power plant and he deals with burners and stuff, and he was saying, well, yeah, you could get something like that. You probably want it like on the side of the house and then run it
Yeah.
down there. But I'm like, that looks like an eyesore if it's on the side of the house. But
You could just bury it.
oh, that's true. A lot of people do that, don't they? I think.
Hmm.
Well, I don't think Isaac's is buried. His is up on
Burying
the
it
hill, but
burying it on the side of a hill would be easy as fuck.
actually, that's true. I didn't think about burying it. All they
Yeah.
need is access to fill it.
You could do a little patio above it too.
Um, a patio above it.
Well, yeah, you could bury it and then if you bury it on the side on the hill going down, you could just do a little landing over it. The trees don't care.
Wouldn't man, be a big ass pit. So
Yeah.
that's what I foresee longer term. We'll see how that shakes out, but I definitely see that in the cards. I feel
Yeah.
like I just don't think the number of pots being made is going to be sustainable long term in the physical space that I have because it's just not enough room to keep up.
I agree.
I think I'm on pace to still. Last year I was right about 4,000 pots. This year I think I'm gonna hit 3,750 maybe.
Uh-huh.
And let's say I was like quote unquote full time or like true full time. You know, I don't think 5,000, 6,000. Like that's a lot. That's a lot to move. So unless something
Yeah.
drastically changes with wholesale or otherwise, I don't know that capacity is going to handle that. So without building a storage or something like that.
Yeah. Or like a whole new studio.
Yeah. Then I got to walk down the hill.
What if
What if I just built the studio down on the hill?
what if you just built the fucking studio on the side of the house?
Maybe. I was thinking, what if it was the whole landing pad down there? Studio, kiln, all on the landing pad. Maybe
That's not bigger than
everything
your
is down
current
there.
studio. That's not bigger than your current studio though. You'd have to like build it so much farther out.
Then the square footage of the landing pad.
Oh yeah, your landing pad is like it's like 30 by no, it's not even 30. It's like 20 by 10.
Actually, it is about 10 feet. I think it's maybe 30 because we put a tent over that for the kiln before. It is pretty much right at 10 feet deep. I
Yeah.
think it's maybe 30 feet wide, but
Oh good. A 300 square foot studio.
well, it could have a second story on it.
Oh my God, Ryan.
I was like, what if I have this as like this would probably be the storage of finished pots in the house in this
Yeah.
studio. And then I'm like, would that be the making studio and the glazing studio and the firing? And then everything that's finished gets brought up here?
Yeah, just remember that when you're firing, you have to have power. And if you think it's expensive to run a gas line down there, think about power.
Yeah, it's a one-time fee. Was that like 3 grand?
Eh, it's a one-time fee. Oh, Ryan.
Hey, so, I mean,
Anyway,
that building a building like that's not going to be cheap either. I've seen some of these people build their studios. I mean, it's like 30, 50 grand, 75 grand.
yeah, it's expensive.
Like, I don't even want to know what it would be to add on to the actual house. Like, I think that
Yeah.
would be more expensive,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
We should do the next question.
This one do you want to read the next one? Or you're not
You can
looking at
read
it.
it.
All right, the next one is from Black Dog Potter MN. Can you share some examples of past problematic customers? Hmm.
Hell yeah.
I didn't actually think that deep into this one.
Okay, the first customer I ever had um was well, actually I have two stories. The first customer and the worst customer. No, first customer I ever had was this lady. And she seemed to be nice, I guess, but I didn't know I didn't have any boundaries. Like I didn't know what to do, you know? Now I would just be like, "No, can't do that. Sorry. You're gonna have to look somewhere else." But back then I think I was just so excited to have like a customer that um I told her I would do certain things and she wanted like unrealistic items. Okay? So she wanted a 32-ounce cup without a handle.
That's a big boy.
Yeah, and I was like a young pup, right? Like I'm not that good at throwing yet.
That's a
That
vase. You want a
yeah,
vase?
she wanted a vase, but she wanted it like narrow enough to hold and
So he's gonna
light
be
enough.
fucking. It's gonna be fucking like a foot and a half tall,
Yeah, and like light
like
enough
a
to
boot.
hold. And she wanted pink. Like pink, 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 like pink.
Ooh,
And we were firing cone 10 at the time, and I was like, I don't think I can do that. And and
I trust
then
you, honey. You got that.
yeah, and then she wanted a pitcher that was like ridiculously large, like a huge pitcher. And instead of the handle being up and down, she wanted the handle to be side to side
Oh,
so that she could like rest her thumb under the pitcher and hold it and pour it.
mm.
And I was like, physics doesn't work that way. It's like,
Yeah, that would be so hard on your wrist to hold. Even just holding a.
well, it would be hard on your wrist, but it would eventually like I think that it would break off.
Yeah, I don't think the balance isn't right if you're doing it like
The
that.
balance isn't right. So like, I mean, I'm sure it wouldn't break off, but it just
Plus, it would
wouldn't
look
be right.
horrible.
It would look awful. And and I know that at the time uh Larry, who was the guy that like I fired at, he was like, I don't know, man, basically. And finally he goes, I think you need to fire her. And I
Hmm.
was like, what? And she goes, you need to fire her. And so that's what I did. I fired her.
Wow.
Yep. I have a good story for a wholesale customer. That was a good one.
All right. I'm trying to think of the only thing. I don't know if I just block out those experiences and I just don't remember. The only thing I'm thinking of is recency that there was somebody that got something off Etsy. They specifically asked for the size of something, height, width, all that. They didn't ask about volume, and they buy the item. They get the item. They're happy with the item, but they're not happy with the volume of it because my measurement that I put on the listing that says 14 ounces is what it holds, she says it holds exactly 14 ounces up to the rim. And that's not going to work for me because I'm having coffee in it and I need an extra ounce to 2 ounces to put something else in it because that's what my Keurig dispenses is 14 ounces. So I'm like,
I guess that
I'm
first
like,
sip in the morning's gonna be bitter.
I'm like thinking, like, how do I respond to this? I'm like, if somebody says what a volume is, your volume is not what it is minus an ounce and a half because you might want to put something else in it. Like, plus, if you
It's
care
not
about the
with
volume,
room.
yeah,
Your volume isn't with room.
yeah, it's like. okay, if you want something that holds that, you probably should have got something that's 16 ounces. Like, I don't know how
Yes.
the normal people measure volume, but you don't usually say, okay, give me a bottle of, you know, a bottle of beer and it's going to be, 10 ounces because you need 2 ounces at the top so you don't spill it. Like, no.
Yeah.
So, I basically gave her the spiel back about I was very nice about it. I was kind of like, well, that's like what I measure if it was, and she was kind of saying like a lot of mugs that I've gotten that say they're 14 ounces have a little bit of extra room so you can do that, wink wink or whatever. And I'm just kind of
And
like
you're
rolling
like, did
my
you
eyes.
say, well, I'm not a liar? You
No, I didn't say that. I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember what I said exactly, but I was trying to pull it up actually. But yeah, it turned into basically, hey, I understand if you want to return it. If you do want to return it, here's what you need to do. This is um this is kind of what how I handle my back and forth and it's up to you to pay the refund, shipping. Sorry. It's up to you to send it back to me. If you want it um oh, here it is. I found it. Let me just read what she wrote, the whole thing. Whoop. Hey, yeah, I got the mug today. Really like the look and feel of it. Quality is really good. Unfortunately, it holds 14 ounces right to the rim. Will spill out if I try to pick it up. Have a few other 14-ounce mugs which say they hold 14 ounces, and the liquid fills to about an inch and a half or so down from the rim. Cost was
An
comparable
inch and a
or lower.
half?
I think that was a typo. I think she meant to say 0.5. But the thing is, I don't, looking at a keyboard, the zero is in the complete opposite side of the one, so maybe it wasn't a typo. Trying to give her the benefit of the doubt here. Um, 1.5 inches or so down from the rim. Cost was comparable or lower. Hate to ask, but could it be replaced? I do like it, except for the ounce discrepancy. So my reply was, sorry to hear you're not happy with the mug. I'm only able to replace it with existing stock that I already have, which likely aren't the same glaze color. You will need to cover return shipping, and then I can refund you upon its successful return in the same condition that I sent it. If you'd then like to order another, please let me know which one you're interested in, and I can confirm the full capacity all the way to the rim so you know it suits what you're looking for. I can ship that one out whenever you order it, before or after you send this one. And then I also mentioned that she bought it on sale. It was a 20% off sale. If you Also wanted to mention that 20% off sale in the shop runs until the end of November if you wanted to consider that for ordering another mug, because she was talking about cost in there. So she was talking about, will refund cover original shipping costs? And I was like, yes, but it's your responsibility to ship it back. Didn't hear anything back. The last thing she said was, sounds good. I have a Keurig coffee maker, which I'm sure a lot of people use, and they need mugs that hold 14 ounces and about 1.5 inches down from the rim. FYI. Wink face, upside down face. She did
Fuck
say
her.
1.5. Does she know
Fuck
how big
her.
1.5 inches is? That is a
Fuck
lot of room
her.
left in that mug.
That's fucking bullshit. That's a 16-ounce mug, and you
That's
know it,
more than
bitch.
that. I think a
That's more than
16.
that. That's like a 17 to 18-ounce mug. Like, what the fuck? Okay. Sorry.
So that's my only recency thing. The only other thing I was thinking was more of a challenge on the making. But yeah, what's your wholesale story you were thinking of?
I think I told you this, but one time I was gonna do wholesale with a friend's friend who like made soap or something like that. Like, I think that I was going to, what was I going to do? Maybe it was candles. Regardless, it doesn't matter what I was going to do. I needed her resale permit. I needed her
Ooh.
tax ID. And you remember this, right? I needed her tax
I mean, it kind
ID.
of relates to the thing I was talking about
Yeah.
a while back
Oh, yeah. But
with
we
the
talked about
wholesale
that. You don't
agreement.
really have to talk about that.
Yeah.
Um, and so she needed I needed her tax ID in the state of Washington. If you are going to be selling if somebody's going to be selling, like you're going to sell something to them, you need their reseller's permit so that you know that they're able to like not charge you tax.
Yeah, you should
So
charge
that
tax to
it's
them unless they give you this form that says,
right.
"Hey, I have a tax ID and I'm going to be responsible for the sales tax."
Right, because you don't want to do tax, like you don't want to charge tax twice. And so I said, yeah, we can do that as long as like I'll just need your reseller's permit. And I think I probably sent her a copy of like the retail agreement, blah blah blah. And she goes, I don't need a reseller's permit. I have an LLC. And I said, you are mistaken. You are mistaken. You do need a reseller's permit. Just because you have an LLC does not mean anything.
That's completely different. Like, I'm
And
trying to think of an analogy, but yeah, we get it. It's not related.
it's not related. And she and I argued for probably 5 minutes. And I was like, here's the fucking deal. If you don't want to give me your reseller's permit, I can charge you tax. Like, but if you do, that's great. And if you don't have a reseller's permit, you might want to get one because you've been doing your business completely incorrectly for the
Did
last
you
two
was
years.
this something you're willing to walk away from?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'm willing to
Did you
walk
end
away
up
from
walking away from it?
anything. Yes. And then this bitch, fuck, this bitch fucking, I think that I complained about it on my Facebook, which was not something you should do.
Oh,
But,
yeah, especially in a small town. I mean,
yeah, she was not from my small town, but still. Then she fucking gaslighted the shit out of me. It was like, I was gonna be mad at you, but now I just feel sorry for you. You look like you're having a really rough time, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, holy fucking shit. And so then, regardless, nothing happened from
oh
that. So,
gosh. Mm,
yep.
mm.
Yep. I'm
Yeah,
trying to
I
think about if I have an in-person.
yeah, the only problematic I mean the now that you say problematic customers, I don't know. I feel like I'm just so nice that it doesn't come to anything that's like super problematic. I just try like the guy at the show where he was kind of go back and forth with me on price. Like that's the only
Right.
thing that I think recently that I'm thinking of. I mean, obviously you get those questions of why does it cost this, and you kind of go back and forth about talking about the process and all this stuff. But yeah, I wouldn't say anything that's something that like blew up and we had an argument about or anything. Like there's no situation where I'm gonna escalate to
Yeah.
that. I don't think.
I'm trying to figure out if I ever told somebody you can leave. Um,
Ooh. I feel like you
like
mentioned that.
I've had many, many times in retail, like regular retail. One time I had a guy yell at me so much that I yelled back at him, and then this is just kind of a funny story, but he came in and started yelling at us, and then I was like, you're it was about his wife who picked out paint colors or whatever and has her own brain and chose certain things. And he got mad at us. And I was like,
I
listen,
bet
your
you.
wife has a fucking brain. She can make her own fucking decisions. And then I got so mad that my boss had to take over. And he got so mad that our rep had to come in and handle the situation. There
Damn.
was there was definitely kicking of boxes at that. Um, Lots of box kicking. Um, my manager when I worked at Sherwin-Williams would get so angry, and there was always a stack of boxes that we used to put paint in, and like they would hold 4 gallons of paint, you know, and we we would he would come back and he would just fucking kick him across the room because he was so angry.
Oh my gosh.
Uh, I remember when I started the job, he was like, the one good thing is that I've actually run away all the bad customers.
Wow.
I also got threatened at that job. Somebody threatened to blow up my car. No, it was my house.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. A lot of painters don't like people or women.
Jeez.
So, Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times if I get some, usually through an email or an Etsy message or something, some question. I usually have to think it over for a day at least, or well, not a full day because I have to respond within 24 hours. But I might get a glimpse of it, and I'm like, no, not in this moment. I want to be in the right headspace so that I can reply and kind of think about it, go back and forth, kind of weigh my options. And obviously, I pretty much always answer in a very gracious way. I'm not sniffing back at people, but you know, just I don't know. I feel like some people probably maybe they expect a certain response. I don't know if they necessarily always want that response, but they kind of want the back and forth in some ways
Yeah.
to be like defending their position or whatever. And I'm like, it's not that serious. I mean, here's what I'm willing to do, but like my return policy is what it is, or I feel like you mentioned some instance where you were at a show and you were like, I think you need to leave. Wasn't that?
Probably. I think that like it's funny, I've been talking a lot with Brandon here because whenever I come here we have conversations talking about like politics, men and women, like the differences, like stereotypes, all those things, like really like deep things. He has three girls and he is a thinker. He likes to converse like you do. And and I will say things kind of like, like, well, she's a woman or something like that. Like, like it's not fair because you're a woman or something like that. But I will say, and I don't put a ton of, I wouldn't say I put a ton of like, not security, a ton of like weight on the fact that like, I do think that women get treated differently. But I also know that there's always special circumstances and stuff like that. But and also like certain minorities get treated a certain way and blah 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 blah. Anyway, I have always been like a fat woman, you know, and that's just like the fact of the matter, not bad, whatever. But because of that, I've always had um nobody's treated me the way that they would treat somebody who's beautiful or somebody who is like, skinny and pretty, like looking up at them with like bright eyes. And I think that I just have this like not necessarily a hardness to me, but like just a matter of factness to me that I'm not gonna like put up with your shit, because I like I've been treated a certain way my whole life because of the way that I look. And so it's just like, no, fuck you. Like, you can fucking leave. I don't like,
But would you feel like they're being a little bit if they did treat you pretty like like they kind of give people a lot of flexibility when you're like pretty attractive because you're like, oh,
mm,
like if you were that, I would feel like, do you think I'm fucking stupid? Like
right. Well,
why don't you talk
see,
to me like you would anybody like not
right. I think the
not like
thing is,
talk easy, or I don't know the right way
yeah,
to
but
word it, but
I think the thing is that people are used to it. If you like have always grown up to be like spoken to a certain way, then you're used to it. So I've always grown up to be spoken to like, I mean, I'm not saying that people are mean to me, but they're gonna treat me differently. They always have. And like have people look at me when I'm not looking at them and my friends be like, why are they staring at you like that? Why did they say things like that to you? Like so I always have like this kind of like this guard up. And I think that like somebody who maybe has been skinny their whole life or is a white male or a male just in general or like we all have certain things about us that is good or is bad, not good or bad, I won't say that, that is in in like the public eye is treated a certain way.
Yeah.
And so like I think that if you're treated a certain way your whole life, you wouldn't necessarily react differently, you know? But if you were treated one way and then like let's say I all of a sudden became like super skinny, you know? Like I've heard of a lot of stories that people that were fat become like super skinny and they're like, "Oh yeah, I get treated totally different." You know? And like yeah, I think then you definitely would be like, "What do you think I'm stupid? Like what the fuck?" You know? But,
Hmm.
you know, I get yeah, like I'm sure there's some people that treat me better and some people that treat me worse. It doesn't matter, but I think that that's the reason that I also my mom, that too. My mom's kind of a oof.
Kind of hardened your shell a little bit.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
yeah,
yeah, I mean, all those experiences are gonna add up, and it's gonna factor into how you react to most people.
for sure.
And you're
And
like, well,
yeah,
you're talking to me that way because you're judging me in a certain way, or
yeah,
maybe you relate the way they're saying something because in the past, historically, more than likely, most people talk to you that way because
of certain things. Yeah.
of certain things. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think like I said, we all have those sort of uh situations that have happened. Like you I think that you generally have nice conversations with people and you're a nice human being. You're like not like you don't argue unless it's your wife or your mother. And like you don't carl it up until you're with people that you love. And then um
But
I
that tone
say
can be there if it and it's like,
it can be there. It can be
and
there.
I know after the fact I'm like, "Oh, that didn't sound the best." But also like I'm
Yeah.
heated in the moment, so
Right.
I'm
Yeah,
like,
like
"Oh, I can do this," but also like it's not the best to do that.
right. Like and you know, you dress nice, you like you have all the right things in place to be treated like nicely. And so you have a lot less opposition, you know? And I don't give any shits. So have a lot of I have a lot of things that are in an opposition to me. You know, not only do I have some physical aspects that put me in a different category, but also I am like an artist, so I'm kind of sloppy. I'm like I don't like show up to a show in a fucking button down or a dress, you know? I have all of these certain things like that add add to it and so I
Yeah.
think that that just comes with the territory. I think that people being mean to me, like it hasn't happened to me in years, you know, but like people saying snide comments about prices or snide comments about like the work or shit like that. Like I think that that just adds on to and you just get
Yeah,
used to it.
they could think that you're not serious about your work because of the way you dress.
Right.
Like, "Oh, you're a sloppy artist." Like you know,
Right.
like I
And
didn't
I
expect that from you. Like, oh, the quality of the
right.
work, I did not think it was. And then they might
Yeah.
judge your prices because they're like, oh, well, like I didn't expect it, but also like you're charging
a
more
hundred
than I
dollars? Oh my
thought.
God.
Like, what the
Yeah.
fuck?
So I think with all of those like together, it it can result in one or two customers that are pissy and one
Hmm.
or two Beccas that are not that are equally pissy back. So, you
Yeah.
know, and that's okay. It's totally okay. Um, but yeah, I do my one of my favorite things in life is to tell people I'm a potter and then like in just like not have them see any of my work and then I show them my work and then their eyes be like, "What the fuck?" And I'm like, "Yeah. No. I'm actually like really good. Thank you." Like
Humble, humble.
like no, I mean, it's just
Well, yeah, most people, if you say, oh, I'm a potter, I do
they don't
ceramics,
know what to
they don't
expect.
know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I was kind of thinking that sometimes. So we go to comedy shows all the time, and I'm like, are people gonna ask like, what do you do for work? And if I feel like the easy answer, if I said I do web development, they'd be like, oh, you look like somebody that does web development.
Yeah.
Like I get it, okay. But if I said like I'm a
I'm a
potter,
potter.
they'd be like,
Okay.
oh, well, you're
What?
poorer than me. Like,
Yeah. Like fuck.
I'd be like, and Rachel would be like, no, no, he like does pretty good, like,
Yeah.
um, but I don't know. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of things about your characteristics, um, like people that are tall, like men that are tall, like they probably get
Mm.
this that they're like the the trust or the authority or the
Yeah.
like yeah, I
Like
don't
when
know.
I see Isaac Shue, even though I think he's a douchebag most of the time, I'm kidding, I love him. Um, even though like yeah, when I see Isaac Shue, I just want to be like, okay, like sure, I will do whatever you need. Thank you. Like he's so like, yeah, just like the way he kind of like commands, just because of his presence,
Right.
so big. Also, I mean, like, does he play basketball? Does he not play basketball? Like, I'm
I
kidding.
played basketball with Hobby when I was there, but we did play basketball against one another. I think
No,
he beat,
actually, I'm
but
pretty sure Isaac did play basketball in high
he
school.
did, yeah.
But but yeah, that's like all those stereotypes, that you like.
Mm,
Oh yeah, like how I have green hair. It's like
yes.
I'm 100% positive that people, if they saw me without seeing this vehicle, actually the vehicle kind of adds to it, but if they saw me just the way I am with like my hair this way, blah blah blah, they would not think that I know how to invest money. You
No.
know? No, never,
Well, they'd
never.
be like she's an artist. You got the
Yeah,
glasses, the hair,
yeah.
the tattoos. Yeah.
And it's sometimes it's hard not to like feed into that too and just let people think about stupid things about how the way you are, you know?
Well, there's some saying about dressing for the job you want or like
Yeah.
doing like getting in that mindset in that persona sort of, but you don't want to like fake it too much where you're not being yourself
Mm-hmm.
because it's like that's not
Yeah.
comfortable. But I get that like situationally, depending on what audience you're in, you might need to adapt a little bit and like
Yeah.
maybe turn up a little bit of certain parts of your personality and turn down certain things or, you know, um, be a little more confident in that situation when you generally would be a little less confident so you can, be respected a little bit more maybe or,
Yeah.
people value your opinion a little bit more, but
I think that I'm really interested. We'll probably bookend on this coming up, but I'm pretty, not this, but like we're gonna end pretty soon. But I'm really interested to see how the upcoming generation deals with that concept because, it's interesting how the upcoming generation, like the ones that are like 15 to 22 now, are very much like, I'm not gonna change who I am for you. you know like they've got those like they understand who they are and they understand who they want to be, and they're not going to change who they are, but then they're like, why am I not getting this job?
mhm.
And
They're
it's
not
like,
willing to kiss a little ass or be a little more
right,
presentable or be
yeah,
like, you know what? I
yeah,
do need to be a little more reliable. They don't need to
yeah,
cater to every need that I have because I'm dispensable.
right.
Like,
And like it'll be interesting to see how that kind of like comes through and like finishes, like not finishes, but like how it
manifests
develops.
itself.
Yeah. Because I mean, I think it's great to hold fast to who you are, like to hold true to who you are and to be who you are, but also, I mean, we all had to kiss a little ass at some point, you know? I've had to wear khakis to work, you know? I got yelled at once for not wearing brown shoes because I was so fucking poor at the time that I took shoes that I already had and I tried to dye them with Rit dye, and they were like leather shoes, and I tried to dye them, but they turned purple, and I got yelled at work because they weren't brown, they were purple, and and I was like, bro, I'm fucking sorry. Like, I'm sorry that the Rit dye didn't work.
Yeah.
What? You know?
But they say you need to
Um,
come in with some brown shoes or else I'm gonna send you home.
basically. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that boss was a fucking bitch.
It's like
But
you got a lost and found here?
Right. Yeah. But I got some leather dye, some shoe polish, got them brown.
Yeah.
I
I don't
still
know.
have them.
I would suspect the generations. I mean, they change with
They figure
they
it out.
change with their age. I mean, they got to adapt and they got to figure out, well, if I'm trying to get, obviously everybody wants this ideal job. If they can't be content creating and making money off that, like they got to
Yeah.
adapt. They got to figure out something that they're willing to do. And, it can be uncomfortable. Like, you know,
Yeah.
you're not just gonna make TikToks and make thousands of dollars and then you're like, I'm set,
Yeah.
or whatever that next thing is.
Yeah.
So,
Cool. Well, that was interesting. I don't know actually what we talked about this whole episode, but it was good. I feel like it was good conversation.
yeah. Any parting words for the folks?
I feel like whenever you say that, I always say the exact same thing. Ladies and gentlemen, take my advice. Pull down your pants and slide on the ice.
Which there might be some pretty soon.
There, oh my God, it's so fucking cold. Thankfully, Brandon had a heater.
Did you get that heat? Oh, you didn't get that heater Brian was talking about yet.
No, but I've
Are you
been looking
think
at it. I've been looking at it because I want to talk to Brandon about it. I don't know which one I want to get. Like, you have to, like, you still have to install certain things, so I don't know how that works. So,
Hmm. Okay.
like, there's an exhaust and all that shit. But I
Oh,
think that Jordan from Bluebird said that he would help me install one this upcoming winter. So we'll see if he still wants to. So
sweet. Yeah, that'd
yeah,
be nice.
that'd be very handy.
I mean, it's
And
not
if
a
it's
very big
yeah,
space you have,
no,
but
no.
you know,
And I can like put it right here so it'll be like put away, you know? So yeah.
sweet. All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening. We will catch you next time.
Peace.
Bye. Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening to another episode of Wheel Talk. This podcast is made possible through the contributions of all of our listeners who always ask us great questions, leave us reviews, and contact with us through social media. Thanks to all the fellow makers as well who take time to be interviewed and share about their lives and businesses.
And thank you to Ashley from Boldover Ceramics and Lindy from Lindy Garner Ceramics for their assistance on the Whale Talk Podcast Instagram. You are invaluable. Thank you to everybody.